Okay, so it's 3 p.m. and we are all set to begin with our today's webinar. A warm welcome to all our participants present here today. Diversity and inclusion is more than policies, programs, or headcounts. Equitable employers outpace their competitors by respecting the unique needs, perspectives, and potential of all their team members. As a result, diverse and inclusive workplaces earn deeper trust and more commitment from their employees. A diverse and inclusive workplace is one that makes everyone, regardless of who they are and what they do for the business, feel equally involved in and supported in all areas of the workplace. HR Association of India welcomes you all to the 2022 Dialogue Masterclass series on the topic diversity and inclusion. To know more about HRAI and its events, I would request all our participants to visit the link and details posted in the chat window. Request all the participants to kindly follow the webinar guidelines mentioned in the chat window. It would be great to have all the participants' feedback. We will be running a poll before the Q&A session. Request all participants to kindly give your feedback on the session. I now take the privilege to introduce our esteemed speaker for today, Subhra P Sanyal, BG Lead Diversity and Inclusion, LGBTQ plus Gender Equity, PWD TCS. Subhra Pratim Sanyal is an HRBP and a DNI BG lead for Tata Consultancy Services with 12 years experience across the sector. Preferred pronoun are they, them, their. At present, Subhra is associated with IT software industry. However, they have worked with marketing industry, telecom industry, and non-profit organization too. Subra strongly believes that positive attitude and approach may change the mindset and stereotypes towards the community members and their struggles. They feel respect should be shared mutually for a constructive thought process as well as a better relationship. Subra contributes to DNI sector passionately in hope of making the organization and the world a better place. You can follow him on LinkedIn. The link for the same has been shared in the chat window. Without wasting much time, I now hand over the platform to Subra Sanya. Over to you, Subra.
Thank you. Thank you very much. That was a great welcoming note, by the way. Thanks a lot for that. And thank you for inviting me. My name is Subhra P Sanyal. My preferred pronouns are they, them, their. I identify myself as non-binary because I truly do not believe in classification of genders. Now, the people, those who do not know non-binary, what it is. Non-binary are the people, those who do not want to be identified with either a male or a female gender. Rather, they want to believe in a gender neutral human behavior, which is what I believe in too, because we all of us are human. I happen to work for Tata Consultancy Services, and I'm an HR there. The journey started long back. However, in DNI, we have started to grow since the year 2018. I am a BG lead. I am a zonal diversity inclusion officer. And I contribute in this DNI, as you rightly said, because I believe in making the world, making the organization, making the vicinity a better place to live in. I strongly believe that when a person is somehow willing to express their views on what they feel or whatever they wish to, I don't know what should I say here. I mean, the kind of expression the people carry, that is something which we always want to focus on, be it their religion, be it their belief in people, be it their race, their ethnicity, or be it anything else. Sometimes it's all about your orientation also. The way you express yourself, that is what matters. People may feel that they are left out, or I am sorry, I think my internet is just allow me a minute, please.
Yeah,
Just a
yeah, no,
moment.
sure, super. Yeah.
Just a moment.
So request the participants to please be patient. The speaker will be back in a minute.
Can you hear me now?
Yes, yes, we can hear you now.
Thank you. Sorry, I'm really sorry. I'm in the office
No issue.
and
No issue.
there was something which was really important to do. So, yes, I believe that the people, the way you express yourself, the way you express your views, somehow you believe that that should be respected. However, the respect is based on mutual understanding. I believe respect is shared mutually by anyone. There are people, those who understand the the differences or the diversity factors, but there are people, those who still do not understand that, and that is not their fault because people, those who come from a stereotyped background, those who have seen only the specimens since their childhood, since the beginning, they need sensitization. And I believe sensitization is the only way, or rather the first step towards making things possible. I strongly believe that if you wish to interact with someone, first of all, you need to feel safe, that how safe you are once you ask any question, or even the person who is coming out to you, the person who is letting you know what he or she is going through, or what that person is thinking about you. Both of them should feel safe to each other because it's not always that people are safe when they're opening their uh, stories to the others. Now, if I have to talk about my own story, my childhood was very normal. It was very normal and very simple. And why I'm quoting this word normal because it was actually normal. So when you are coming from an Indian middle class family, you are raised with other siblings and other people, those who look normal, those who behave normal, those who act normal, and your parents are also never so much worried about the other aspects that may come in your life. During your childhood, they only talk about your education, your maybe how good you are at talking to people, or how good you are at your results, and stuff like that. But there was a day, or rather, there was a time when I was going through my adolescence and I understood that something was different in me. When I understood that something was different in me, I was absolutely clueless and I was absolutely answerless because I felt there was no one to answer me. And being a kid of 90s, I mean, I'm a 90s kid, and at that point of time, we didn't have any Google or any smartphone or anything which can give you certain answers. And what actually was the problem with me was rather, I was not liking the conversation which was happening in my friend circle. So I'm from a boys' school and I have seen only boys, boys, and boys. And I was not somehow liking the conversation that all my friends, those who are boys, they were having about the other women. And I think I was 15 or 16, maybe. Probably I was 15. And I felt something was wrong because I was not liking the conversation. Neither I didn't feel the urge. to have a girlfriend. Whereas most of my friends already started to talk to girls, already started to talk to the neighbors, those who are girls, and I somehow felt there was a boy in my class who I'm more attracted to, but I was confused, and there was nothing I could do. I was I was answerless and I was clueless. It was a journey that you are going through a tunnel which is absolutely dark, and you do not know who is waiting for you or what is waiting for you next. You're searching for some answers, you're searching for some light, and there is no one, trust me. I was extremely shy, or rather, I was typically a coy person to open my requirements or to ask what is going wrong or if at all there is something wrong or not. So I felt only parents are the people, those who can help me. Because I thought that there is something which is going wrong in me because I have a disease. When I felt that, I remember it was a rainy day, and I always go start any conversation about my family stating this. Perhaps I'm thankful to my stars to have been born to such a family, those who have no complaints, no doubt, no shame, or no questions also about me. This was really unexpected, and I did not expect a kind of bonding with my family in this way. So I was searching for some answers, and it was a day which was it was incessant rain since morning, and I remember my mother was not there at home. My mother went out with other siblings, and I have a sister and brother. So my mother went to some coaching classes or something. I can't remember. But father was the only person who was at home, and he was doing something, and I was just standing behind him and watching him. And my father understood that there is something that I want to talk to, talk to him about that. So my father, while doing it, my father asked, "Is there anything that you want to say? Please go ahead." And I said, "Baba, I feel there is something wrong. I feel that I have a disease and I need to go to the doctor. Can you please take me to the doctor?" My father suddenly looked at my face and said, "What is wrong? Do you have fever? What? What is happening? Are you okay? What's wrong? Tell me. Did you fight with your friends? Did someone beat you?" I said, "No, nothing like that. But this is something which I don't know what is going wrong with me. And I'm sure that there is something wrong." And my father said, "What is that?" And I replied, "Please don't beat me, but I think I'm not liking women. My friends are liking girls. My friends are talking about girls. I'm not liking them. Rather, there is a boy in my class who I have started to like, and I don't know what kind of a like it is. But every day he talks to me and I feel good. Every day we share the food and I feel good. When he calls me for some group study or joint study, I feel good. Whenever I see him, I feel good. When he asks me to sit beside him, I feel good. What is going wrong? Please take me to a doctor. I need a cure." There was a moment of silence after this, and that was the most unpredictable silence I have ever faced in my life. So I thought there will be a tight slap right on my face in the next minute. I was, I was shivering because all of us know that when it comes to your mother, you don't get afraid that much because most of the children are more close to the mothers. But fathers, I was at least very scared of my father. So I thought I made a mistake. I shouldn't have said that. And I just wanted to run away from the place, and my father caught my hand very tight and asked me to sit down beside him. With an immense fear, I sat down beside him and I started to cry. And I said, "Baba, trust me, I didn't do anything. I'm not sure what is happening. I did not tell anyone about this. No one did anything to me. I did not kill anyone. I mean, what not I was saying." And my mother said, "Please listen to me." And I can't forget what he said that day. Those words will remain with me till my last breath. So I really remember word to word what he said. He said, "This is not a disease. There is no cure to it. You are this, what you explained, and there is no one who can cure you or who can give you any medicine and make you something different. This is what you are, and this is what you will have to go ahead with. Or any other assistance, any help, anything you need, please come to us and talk to us. We are always there. You you will succeed in your life and you will do something good for us too. But that day the answer was not very good for me. I was not very happy with the answer because somehow I felt I really had a disease and I wanted a cure. And I really thought that I should uh, go to a doctor and I should do something. And my father just did not want me to go to a doctor, maybe for XYZ reason. And I was not very happy with the answer. I was still searching for the answers and I was still talking to my friend, talking to a few other people who I knew, not from family or extended family, but from the friend circle only. And after 3 or 4 years, I understood that, I mean, by that time, I understood a little bit of me. So I understood that there is nothing wrong. This is really something which is chromosomal and no one can change it. No doctor, no medicine, no human, not even God. During this time, I have faced a lot of discrimination, a lot of hatred, and there were a series of incidents which happened accidentally, but I was not responsible for them. But those incidents were not very happy incidents or not very soothing for anyone. I'll come back to it later because I really don't want to talk about those incidents too much. I always focus on the betterment or the better things, and I'm very hopeful for a better life always. But yes, after 3 or 4 years, maybe I spoke to my mother on a day and I told my mother, Ma, this is the thing. I like men. There is a boy in my class like him, and we talk to each other, we meet each other. I feel that he can be my partner, something. And I just wanted to tell you because Baba knew this 4 years back, but I could not get a time to tell you, or I could not get it, the or gauge the courage to come to you and tell you about it. So I think I should tell you now. And my mother was cooking that day. While cooking, she listened to everything and she was very indifferent. And she was saying, okay, all right. I said, Ma, I am telling you something. This is serious. This is something which is me. And I need some importance. I need some advice from you. And I need you to tell me something about it. Good, bad, ugly, whatever. And my mother, again, while walking only, my mother said, what do you think? For the last 4 years, I did not know about it. The day you expressed your views to your father, that day only he came to me and he told me everything. So I knew everything by all this time, and this does not make any difference for me. I mean, you are my child, just the way I have other two kids. So my children are my children, and my love for them does not depend upon what they choose, what they like, or what they eat. Your life is your life. Just make sure that you don't do anything wrong, which can be seen shameful as a parent for us. And again, that night, my mother said something which I will never forget. My mother said, maybe you have people who are understanding you. Maybe you have people who are not judging you. Maybe we are not the kind of person who will ask you to leave or who will ask you to live your life the way we want. But trust me, there are people, those who still need help. There are people, those who cannot express themselves. There are people, those who are rejected not only by the society but first by their family. Try to help them. Try to do something for them because if you help someone who needs it, God will help you one day. And I'm getting goosebumps again because that night was a relief for me. I hit a sigh of relief and I felt like this is something which I should be proud of. I still don't understand what kind of a mentality they have, because from a middle class Indian family, you don't expect these words always. You don't expect your child to be different, because as I said, I repeat myself again, since childhood, we always have seen specimen, a specimen of a man who looks like a man, walks like a man, talks like a man, behaves like a man, gets married, produces kids. A specimen of a woman does the same thing and thus called a woman. Whenever we have seen anything different, we have reacted to it as an alien without even knowing their journey, without trying to understand their struggle, without understanding what they want from us, or if at all they want anything from us. Because it may be the case that those are the people, those who do not need anything from you. Because trust me, they're already doing better in their life. I mean, if they want anything from you, then it might be possible that you can be benefited by them also. So why not taking it in a positive way and making a bi-directional communication by talking? Here I believe that talking is one of those key factors which can help you to go close to someone, talk to them, understand their struggle, understand their journey, their views, and what they're trying to mean by their expression or their voice. What I bring to you on the table today is their voices on their behalf. I mean, it's very easy to be very hopeful on a bright, beautiful, sunny day like today. But what about those days which are totally covered with cloud, which are not looking so bright? What are those lives which are still which are still facing that hunger of being heard? Sometimes all they want is to be heard. And trust me, listening to someone is free of charge. And when you listen to someone, you don't get guilt. That's what I believe, and that's why when I joined, this is my fifth organization. Tata Consultancy Services is my fifth organization. Previously, I worked for four more organizations, and whenever I have started my journey with an organization, very at the very beginning, I asked them, "What is the kind of diversity aspect you follow?" So I started my journey in way back 2010, and this is 2022. Now in 2022, people are open about diversity, equity, inclusion. Now in today's world, we are talking about LGBTQ plus, PWD, people with disabilities. We are talking about uno parenting, which means single parents. We are talking about female employees. We are talking about the people from different background, from different race, different ethnicity, different religions, different skin tone, and whatnot. But during the time when we started our journey, our career, that point of time, this diversity inclusion factor was not very huge. Till I asked my questions, till I requested them to do something which can make others feel safe in the organization. Because it's really, really important where you're going to spend 10 hours a day or 9 hours a day. You must feel safe and accepted, if not respected, because I believe respect is earned. And when I talk about please do respect someone, I do not say that respect any individual uh, without any reason. If you want any reason to respect someone, that's okay. If you do not find that reason in any entity, please do not respect them. But mind it, you cannot disrespect them too. Because maybe your disrespect can create a shield, and that shield can be so strong one day that whatever you give them, you take back in the similar pattern. Because the life, the world is running on a mirror effect. What you give to nature, the nature returns you back. I feel that there are still people, I mean, I will not tarify them with rural or urban India, because diversity inclusion does not depend upon whether you live in a city or in a village. Inclusion does not depend upon how much education you bring with yourself with the certificates. I think inclusion comes from your heart and mind when both of them are in parallel connection. When you think the way your heart is instructing you to, that is the time you start including people, including new things happening in your life. And I believe inclusion is an act. So we always say diversity is a fact, inclusion is an act. We cannot change the fact, but we can change our act. Also, it's very important for the people from the same community. I mean, when I talk about specifically LGBTQ community, it's very important for them to respond, not react. I think taking criticism is as feedback is something which is really important for people, those who are coming from a different genre. Because in the world, when you see specimens in childhood, when you see only A, B, and C, and D is the odd man out, and you are that D, you will have to come sit by them their shoulder, and you will have to prove yourself such an inclusive entity so that people do not feel the shyness or they don't get afraid to come to you and ask you, hey Paul, may I please have a conversation with you? I think you're different and I just want to understand you. There will be people, those who will never understand you, and there will be, I mean, those people can be there in your family also. I have seen that in your immediate family, your parents or your siblings, or sometimes your extended family, they don't accept you. Please don't get doomed. Please understand their point of view also. And you cannot force anyone to accept the way you are, right? Remember, if they are also forcing you the way they want to see you, this is absolutely abnormal to you. The similar way, they also need time from you. They also need time to think about what is happening. Because on one fine day, you come to your parents or you come to your siblings or your friends, and suddenly you open up and you tell them the story, may not be very much acceptable for the others who are looking at you because they always thought something different about you. Now their thought process has to be changed. And when you have to change someone's thought process, you have to allow them time. You have to be patient. This is very important for any entity to be patient, to not only understand themselves, but also to understand what others are made of and what others want from you. Yeah, I still have seen, I mean, just because I have worked for non-profit organizations and I've worked for NGOs for a longer period of time, and the NGOs I work for, they used to specifically work with prostitutes, children of prostitutes, trafficked kids, and eunuchs, and people with disabilities mostly. And when you talk about prostitutes, LGBTQ are also included in that because most of the time we have seen that eunuchs are coming into forced prostitution because they are asked to leave their house, they're asked to leave their family. And this has happened in big cities also, not in villages, not in some rural areas. These things are happening in big cities, in metro cities, behind our eyes. Either we are not aware of these things or we do not want to hear these things because we do not have any solution. So, here again, I come to you with the request that whenever you see a different story, whenever you feel there is something wrong, please show some empathy if you can. And those who do not know what is empathy or what is the difference between empathy and sympathy. So, sympathy is something which by which you look at someone's miserable situation and you just simply sympathize and move on. Empathy comes with a resolution. So I'll give you a small example. You're crossing the road and you see an old man standing on the footpath and waiting for his turn to come to cross the road. And maybe he is very much afraid of crossing the road because of the speeding vehicle. He is shivering. And people, those who are passing by, they are just saying that a poor man, I feel so bad to see. And they're just not helping. They're just not talking to the man and asking whether he needs to cross the road with help or not. And there is someone who comes and says, "Uncle, do you need any help? Can I share my hand with you? Can I take you to that the other side of the lane?" This is empathy. So if you have any resolution, please come up with it so that because the world is looking towards you. The world is looking at you. We all are waiting for you to come and join. And I am not one of them, or I do not request any one of you to be one of them. Those who are waiting for a hero to come and abolish everything. Trust me, no hero will come. So be the hero yourself and do whatever you feel is right to be done. Do good, do right, and trust me, things will change. I'll give you a small example what we have been doing. So this diversity inclusion is something which is my out of my own interest. I have started to offer my contribution to my organization. Otherwise, previously before 2018, we did not have this big diversity factor in TCS also. But when we saw that there are a number of uh, harassment cases are coming in, and those are not coming from women associates mainly, those are coming from mostly either from people with disabilities or people from LGBTQ community. And why these are happening? Because they are getting bullied inside office premises. We understand policies are required. We understand that any organization stands on some baseful, logical policies, but only creating policies and showing it as a showcase will not help any organization, any employer. If you have policies, you will have to start making them happening in the same ecosystem so that people feel safe, people feel accepted, and at the same time, people feel that they are also one of those employees, those who are really important for the organization. Finding your own importance is also very, very important. And to make someone feel their importance, employers should start the grassroots level sensitization first. Once you sensitize people, once you start talking to people, once you make people or employees understand what is happening, what kind of people they can meet, what kind of behavior are respectful and what kind of behavior are shameful, and then you talk about policies, it's making more impact on them. Because if you simply come on the stage, do a tick box activity, I spoke about policy, I spoke about this, tuck, 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 my job is done, I'm done. Maybe your job is done, but the motto of the job is not. The people are still unaware of why those policies are created. Who are these people? Are they alien coming from Jupiter or Mars? They have to understand that the air that these people are inhaling are exhaled by those people for whom the policies are created also. They have to understand that water they're drinking are recycled by these people. So they have to understand that they all, or rather we all, have to coexist. This coexisting capacity can only be maintained and created in an ecosystem, be it in organization or at home or a family or anywhere, with the first step taking as talking to people, making them understand what you want from them, and making them understand what others want from them. And if both the parties are not in the mood to ask for anything from each other, if they really feel that I don't want anything from you, so please don't want anything from me, that is still okay. But what we do not want is disrespect. What we do not want is disrespectful bullying attitude. That is something they will have to understand. That if you want a better career, a better opportunity, a better organization, a better ecosystem, and at the end of the life, at the end of the day, a better life, you will have to start practicing some better behavioral aspects which can make things better. Remember, you are also in that. same ecosystem. If you do better, better things will come. So I think it's time for me to request Faisal if you have any questions or if you have anything that you need to share.
Yeah. So before we move into the Q&A session, we will be initiating the poll. Request all
Right.
participants to kindly share your feedback. While doing so, request all participants to kindly post their questions in the chat window. Once again, I thank all our participants for joining our session today. We have received a lot of inquiry about the e-certificate offered by HRAI. You can claim your certificate by sharing your details, name and session attended in an email to the email provided in the chat window. Please ensure you do this by the end of this month. We will email the e-certificates to you based on the details received. So, Subra, we have received some questions from registrations. I'll just uh, start asking you questions. So, the first
Sure,
one is,
sure.
being a leader, how do I know the level of inclusiveness employees feel within the organization? And how do I identify the roadblockers and the areas of improvement to increase the sense of inclusiveness in the employees?
Sure. Okay, before I start, I cannot see the screen because my screen says the poll. So how do I get?
Yeah, you can just
Should I close it?
minimize it.
Or yeah, I'm here. Thank you. So yes, I believe as a lead, it's very important for any lead to first talk to the people that he is associated with and do a 360-degree appraisal as soon as possible when you take up the lead role. Because when I say 360-degree appraisal, it means that you talk to every level of people, every level of employees. You are in leadership role, you will talk to only the superiors and seniors will not help you because the people you are dealing with are mainly the juniors or the peers. So, talking to the others and talking to people, those who have contributed a number of years in the similar or same organization, will help first to understand the loopholes or to understand the betterments. If we have done anything better, what are the better things? If we have not done anything better, what are those things and how could we have made them better? Identifying that factor is also very important for a lead. So, talking to every level of employees is the first recommendation which I will recommend here. Understanding the requirement, because when you start talking to people, some way or the other, people will ask for their requirements. People will ask the way they think. People will ask for some help if they need it. So, this is something very important for a lead to understand what he is dealing with. And to understand the diversity factor, please remember that most of the time, I mean, for people with disabilities, there is still a possibility of coming forward and writing down their name in PWD because of some certification, or sometimes it's visible disability that we see that okay, this person with disability is someone who belongs to diversity inclusion factor. But looking at someone, we cannot assume whether he's a gay or a lesbian or a bisexual. Sometimes transgenders are look so beautiful that it's not understandable that they are coming from a complete different genre altogether, and now they are using the term transgender for themselves. So assuming will be very bad. Rather, when you talk, you can talk about something which is respectfully acceptable for them to open up. If you are talking about someone and if you want to know about the diversity ratio in an organization, just ask people that we are opening a forum, which is a kind of club, and this is open for LGBTQI plus people. So people, those who belong to the community, they can come, they can join. People who, those who do not belong to the community but want to act as an ally, they can also come and join. Now the people, those who are coming and joining, if they are the allies, that's well and good. But if they are from the community member, I think most of the time we see that when they feel safe, they come out of the closet. When they meet like-minded people, and when they feel this respect in bi-directional communication, they come out in front of that portion of people. And that is where you understand that these are the people for whom I need to do this. And as a lead, my role will be this. Now, the roadblockers, when I say everywhere roadblockers will be there because there will be staunch mentality people. People, you have to understand as a lead. If you are a lead, I will expect that you have contributed a number of years in the sector and you have gauged experience. Utilize that experience to understand that what kind of a roadblocker you have. If you see that someone is blocking the ecosystem or blocking the policies to be made for diversity inclusion, which is very rare in today's world. But still, if you see that there are policies, but not policies are applied on people or the employees for those the policies are created for, you will again start taking initiation. In this time, you may have to take the help of higher management and you may have to make them understand that why do you need it and how this will be beneficial not only for these human lives but also for business. Because any organization today are running business and they want some sort of profit out of every employee. Any employee who is not working for any non-profit organization are requested or supposed to contribute their contribution for the organization's profit. So maybe the lead has to go through a research and then he has to identify what kind of profit this diversity and inclusion factor can bring to the organization. And this can be placed to the higher management along with the factors that these people are feeling safe here. So it will help these people to have a better ecosystem. And when you belong to a better ecosystem, you anyway breathe better there. So this is the way they will have to deal, I believe, in my opinion.
No, no, very impressively answered, Subra.
Thank you.
So, coming to our next question is how should we, what should we do if we think someone is lesbian, gay, bisexual, or transgender, but they haven't told anyone?
Very good question. That's a very, very good question and very important too. Because in a layperson's language, gay, lesbian, homosexual, or bisexual people do not take a board on the chest that I am gay or I'm lesbian. And identifying these people do not have any special criteria that if he looks like this, he's gay, and if she behaves like this, she's lesbian. The only thing which I believe is first make yourself cozy and friendly with that person if you feel that you really need to know what he belongs to or she belongs to. Don't just rush to the conclusion or question so fast. And please do not go ahead without creating a platform. Start talking to that person. Start making that person feel safe while he or she shares something with you. At the same time, you should also feel safe because just because he is a gay or a lesbian and you are an ally, you will go to him and ask him these kind of questions and he will embrace you. This does not happen every time. Because remember that you are getting into someone's very deep core personal feelings and getting into an area which he never wanted to share with anyone. So it means he himself is not very comfortable sharing or coming out of the closet. Please respect that decision if someone is not coming out of the closet. Yes, if someone himself is a gay or herself is a lesbian and not coming out of the closet and making fun of other gays, bullying other gays or lesbians so that people don't get attracted to him or her, rather people have a focus shift on the other person and he is safe, that is shameful. But when you see that a calm, quiet human being who you talk to on a daily basis and who you meet on a daily basis, maybe or on a regular basis, and somehow you feel that he is a person who is safe to share things with, then only you start talking to him. You make him understand or aware of your motto Why do you want to know about something like this? And then you start talking about very small friendly things. You can start talk about partners. So you can start with this, that I mean, I'm just giving an example. There are so many other ways you can do it, but you can start with this, that you know what, last weekend I was talking to my partner and she was very angry with me. What about your partner? You have a partner? And see how comfortable they are sharing about their partner stories. Now, this will be very tough for the people, those who do not have a partner. But most of the time, if you see that people have a partner, they will start talk about it. And you start to talk about your open-minded attitude, and you start making them aware that you're an open-minded person. You are okay with someone who is a gay or lesbian, that does not matter to you. So if next time you see someone who is coming and telling you I'm gay or I'm lesbian, this will create no difference in the bonding between you and you. So once these things are done on the on place rather, and you have created your platform, on one day you can take a chance and you can start talking to him if you feel that he will be comfortable. Otherwise, if you feel that he or she is very stringy about sharing these things, I think it's better to avoid that, because you may hurt someone's feeling. And anyway, someday or the other, the people, those who belong to the community, will come out, I believe, and that day it will be open to everyone.
Good. So we have one more question, Subra. How should we respond to heterosexual friends or co-workers who feel negatively about a person who is lesbian, gay, bisexual, or transgender in our office?
Again, beautiful question. Beautiful question. Thank you for asking this. First of all, I think the answer lies within. The person who has quoted the answer already said that how should I respond? He or she did not mean to say how do I react. They said how do I respond? So response or responding is the first way of answering someone. If you see, I mean, you do not have to be yourself a lesbian or a gay. I supported people, those who are molested or those who are deaf, before the time I was gang molested. So I'm a person who was gang molested by 17 people on the first day of my college, and I was molested by the people because I was asked to show my genitalia in public, and that was the kind of things they wanted to see from me. And I was not absolutely in agreement of that, and that's why I was gang molested. But I do not think that I will have to face that struggle to feel that uh, feeling in me. Before I was molested, I started to support people, those who are molested or those who are raped. So you do not have to be a gay or a lesbian to support another gay or lesbian. You being straight, absolutely straight, can also make difference in your behaviors towards a gay or a lesbian or a bisexual or a transgender. Now, I believe always that in your behavior, two things should always reflect. The one is your educational qualification, the other one is your upbringing, the roots that you're coming from. It's really important that you should behave like a mature adult to the world, so that they understand that you are not kind of person who will react to it and who will do equal shameful things which they have already done. I think for a person who is homophobic, it's really important for you to go ahead and start talking to the person about why they feel that these are the people, those who are alien, or these are the people, those who do not belong to this world. Maybe they also have a story to tell you. When you're listening to Subhra P Sanyal, you're listening to only the stories of Subhra P Sanyal. Maybe there are people, those who misbehaved with me, those who bit me and broken my face or teeth, those who molested me. They might also have a story to tell. Maybe they have an ugly past which is related to LGBTQ community. Why do they think about this, or why do they think about this particular portion of people in this way? Understanding that is very, very important, and that will give you the knowledge to behave in a certain way, and that will give you the way how you will deal with. So if you see that it's just blatantly brutal, for him to behave in a certain way towards LGBTQ community and feel that they don't belong to, then you can tell them that, see, this is the factors that you should look into. People are fast growing, fast moving. There are sectors where LGBTQ people are rather dominant in suppose you talk about the fashion sectors, filmmaking sectors. These are the sectors where mostly you see people are coming from community and they are the dominant people. They don't allow anyone there because they are the best, proven to be best. So you have to give them examples, you have to make them aware of the world, and you will have to tell them something which is very, very important, that they will have to make themselves ready for their future for parenting, because tomorrow they do not know what kind of a child they give birth to. So after 15 years or 20 years, when they see that their children are behaving in this similar pattern, what are they going to do? Now, these are the people, those who are behaving in a different pattern, and these are the people, those who are LGBTQ, do not have any direct relationship to each other. So it's very easy for these people to disrespect them and to abolish them from the society, or at least try to abolish them from the society. What happens when you give a birth to a child who is your own blood, who is your own creation? Will you behave the same way with these people? Here comes your question, here comes your humanity, here comes your educational journey, here comes your upbringing, and that day, that man will remember that someday or one day, one being, be it a lesbian, be it a gay, or be it straight, one human being came to me and told me, boss, create yourself in a way, or gauge yourself a little more confidence, or gauge some more courage to your life, so that you are ready for this day, because you do not know what is happening next. So be future ready. Now for the people, those who have one single story to say that, you know what, I have a very ugly story with these LGBTQ people. I have been bullied by them, or I have been threatened by them, or I have been sexually abused by them. You don't know what the stories are lying behind, right? So, without assuming, please do not be rude or impulsive to them. First, understand why the behavior or where the behavior is coming from. Then you start working on it. If you do not understand where to go and what to do next, just pause. Talk to the experienced people. Take some help from internet, and then you go next day ready with some encouraging views, and then you go and tell him, sir, I understand that you have an experience which is really ugly experience, but trust me, that is one of those people. And when you have five fingers in your hand, one will be small, the other one will be bigger. Does it mean that you will start deleting all of your fingers because one is small? So that is maybe one of the stories you have. Give chance to the others who have something to say. Maybe one of these LGBTQ people or PWD people will become your best possible best friend you have ever had in your life. Please give them a fair chance to do their tasks what they are readily available with. So this is very important, I think. I think it's very easy to say that heterosexuals are homophobic. No, please understand why they are showing this homophobia. Maybe they also have something to say. And until and unless you listen to that story, you are doing injustice to them. And when you do injustice to others, you please do not expect the equal amount of justice happening to you. Whatever you give, you get it in return.
Very beautifully answered, Subra. So we have
Thank
one
you.
question on DEI, saying that how can we use our organization's overall strength to our advantage in developing our DEI strategy?
Again, a very good question. So, utilizing organizational policy does not mean a quota system. I really do not believe in quota system where a quota for five LGBTQ or PWD community will be there. I believe that policy should be equally distributed to every single talent, because I am coming from, I mean, I have worked with COE, I have worked with Center of Excellence roles where I have dealt with only policies. I have worked with talent acquisition where I used to lead a talent acquisition team with hardcore talent. Now I'm in BPHR role and I'm taking care of the employee life cycle. In every single area, I have seen that HRs or the organizations deal with talent. And when you start using quota system, somehow you're doing injustice with the proper talent. Just because you're coming from LGBTQ does not mean you are equally talented as Mr. X or Miss Y who is standing behind me, those who are not from the community, but they maybe they are equally talented or more talented than you are. Or rather, people those who are not hiring LGBTQ because they are homophobic. This is also absolutely bad because maybe this lesbian or this gay has better talents hidden in them, which should be identified by the leads or by the acquisition people, and those people should be given a fair chance to prove themselves. In this way, both of the parties will be benefited. The organization will be benefited, the employee will also be benefited. Now, utilizing these policies, how will you do it? There's a simple way. First of all, voice your requirements on the proper table. It's not always required to be loud out and everywhere you go and you tell them that I'm this and look at this. Rather, you seek for a proper forum where your voice will make some difference and you will have to search for that proper forum. In your organization, you start talking to those people who can help you understand the policies, the creation of policies, and what can be the changes in those policies. Once you reach out to those people, once you start talking to them on a regular basis, and once you start making them aware that why do you want to utilize these policies, what are the benefits? Again, I'm saying, when you're talking about organizations, please remember organizations will behave human, that is normal. But at the end of the day, organizations want some business deals also because they are doing business, they are hardcore businessmen, and they are paying you because they have to run their business. They are not paying you because you belong to this community. Neither they are paying you because you needed the job. They are paying you because they wanted you to do the job for them. So understand what the organization wants, make them aware that how these policies will be helpful for that organization, and then you prepare yourself. Preparation is very important. Prepare yourself, read the policies, be very vigilant with Indian constitution in at least few factors, at least in sexual harassment cases or at least in LGBTQ plus cases, 377 and 377A cases, and go ready to your organization's hierarchy. Then you voice your requirement on the proper table, and then you yourself will start the revolution, and you will see it's happening. People will definitely listen to you.
Thank you, Subra, for answering all our questions so accurately and it's bang on. So, thank you for this insightful and intriguing session. Thank you for sharing with us your inspiring story, which was truly very poignant and motivating. As you very truly said, if you help someone in need, God will help you. It has been a pleasure being with you today. I am sure our
Thank you.
participants, I'm sure our participants had a lot to learn and take away from this session. Before we conclude with our today's session, we would also want to thank the association members Geisha, NASCOM COE, LinkedIn Local, Talgro, TLE, and WICCI for supporting these HRAI events. To know more about these associations, I request you all to kindly visit the links provided in the chat window. Thank you once again, dear speaker and our participants, for joining us today. Do join us for our next masterclass by Zena Patel, Lead Inclusion and Diversity, Pernod Ricard, India, on 13th of June 2022. That's it from our today's webinar. See you soon. Stay safe. Take care and bye for now. Thank you, Subra.
Thank you for calling. Thank you.